We are back again with the Polish the Mirror podcast. I am your host, Amy Thurman, and I am so glad you're here. Oh my goodness. This is episode number 21. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If this is your first time to catch this podcast, if you want to find the others, go to hashtag Polish the Mirror podcast. It's streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, all the places. Although it's telling me right now that there's an error with Facebook, so it might not be on Facebook. Anyway, after it airs, then I take the audio and I download it and to all of the podcasting platforms. So then you can find it on Spotify, Google, Apple, all of those. So just search for hashtag Polish the Mirror podcast and you can find the rest of the episodes. So thank you again for being here. The purpose of this podcast is a reflection of my life. I have lived the past 10 years with a broken neck, but I have been able to find hope in the midst of that adversity. And so I was looking for a way for people to share their stories of hope gained in the midst of adversity, and I couldn't find one. So I created one. So that's what this platform is about. It's about spreading hope. And most of the time, that's what I have. That's what we have on the show is guests who are here to share their stories of hope gained in the midst of adversity. But I do offer special episodes like the one today where it's all about hope, but it may be in a different form than the other episodes. And so today I'm so excited to welcome to the stage my chiropractors, Dr. Austin and Dr. Ty from Oklahoma Chiropractic Collective. Welcome, you guys.
Hello, hello. How are you doing today?
Doing well. I'm so excited that you're here and so thankful that you're willing to take the time to come chat with us and help enlighten us a little bit today.
Well, we're thankful to and blessed to be able to do it. So, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so good. I tell you, oh my goodness. As a person who has a neck injury, people ask me, and I put in my book that part of what I do now to keep myself going is chiropractic care. And so I have had several people ask me, like, with a neck injury, how do you do that? How do you do chiropractic care that helps your neck when you have these plates and these screws in there? And it's a tricky thing, we have to work around that. But I have been a fan of chiropractic care for a long time, for most of my life. And one of the things I love about it and about the natural approach is that I firmly believe, and I've said this before, if you have watched before, you've heard me say this, that when you give the body the environment to heal, it knows what to do. The body knows how to heal itself. It's made to do that. And if we will allow it to be in that environment, that it can do that. And so I know you guys, we have talked about this before, but I would love for you to pipe in with that because even on your website, you have that on your website because you guys believe that too. So what do you guys have to say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We would 100% believe that, like you said, that is on our website. It's kind of funny. We were talking earlier, you brought that up. And so,
Yeah.
but just kind of going back to just kind of the basic chiropractic philosophy, chiropractors, most of us believe that we have an innate intelligence within all of our bodies, right? Whether you practice a particular religion, believe that's, God, or leave that to, the viewer to decide what their beliefs are. But, exactly like you said, if it's not so much about adding or taking things away as it is just putting the body in the right environment. So that means the right foods, exercise. It's even like mental and emotional things. Like we know that mental and emotional stress, we actually hold on to that within our physical bodies. There's a really good book called The Body Keeps the Score.
Yes.
You might have read it, Amy. So
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And, it's more of that natural approach. And, a lot of the issues that we see and deal with, people just aren't moving well or haven't moved in a while. And that's ultimately our goal as practitioners is we want people moving better than they ever have. And hopefully that will lead into other goals that they can reach, whether that's getting out and going on a mile walk or getting back into some sort of exercise routine, just increasing their quality of life. That's ultimately why we're here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. And I think that's, you guys and I connect, we resonate on in that so deeply because we believe that so deeply. And one of the things, like I said, I have been a fan of chiropractic care pretty much most of my life. And after my neck injury, I was so fearful. I just completely stopped looking for chiropractic help because I was so fearful. Like, you can't just go to someone and have them cracking your spine and, with a neck injury like I have. And
Right.
I did seek out. There was at one point because, I was struggling so much, and I know that chiropractic care has helped me in the past. I was looking for some relief again, and I thought, I'll just see. And I checked out some other chiropractors, and I just, most of them, when you go in, they will say, what are you hurting? Where are you hurting? And maybe feel around on your spine. And then they start cracking. They start, manipulating. And you guys don't do that. It's one of the things I love about you guys, that this is what happened. You guys listening and watching. This is what happened with my very first appointment with them. Yes, they asked me where I hurt and what the issues were. I said, I'm very fearful. Like, I'm very worried. I'm very afraid of hurting my neck. And this is really hard for me to come in here and to do this. And they were so understanding. You guys were so understanding. And we're like, well, we won't touch your neck. Like, we're not even going to mess with it. If that's a concern for you, we're not even going to touch it. And then they took me and did x-rays. They showed me the x-rays, like we looked at them together. We came up with a plan together, and then we just started. And so I love that approach that you guys have. You understand that the body is one that communicates. It's all connected. And I
Mhm.
don't find that a lot with chiropractors. They usually are just focused on the spine, but you guys understand that every piece of the body, down to the feet, are connected. And so I don't know if you want to pipe in there, but I just love that about you guys so much.
Yeah. Well, speaking on the, sitting down with you and talking about and kind of teasing out all the different things that we saw on X-ray, our biggest thing that we really like to do with the people that come in our doors is patient education. If you can find an avenue and get them to understand, like, you don't have to live with pain, and we are going to have a specific approach and educate them on that. There's power in kind of knowing what's going on within your body and knowing how it's going to be addressed. Patient education is a huge block of what we do, and it's really helped a lot of people understand, okay, I can work with this, I can get better, I don't have to live this way.
Absolutely. Yeah, he hit on the head for sure. I think another big part of that education process is just a lot of people come into our doors and they're fearful. Most of them have been dealing with pain for a long time, and that's been keeping them from doing things. And they get to a place where they think they're never going to be able to do certain things again. They see their body as being broken. That might be a strong word, but it's a good opportunity for us to just let them know that, like, regardless of what you've been through, that your body is resilient. And yes, you may be dealing with this right now, but our goal is not to put their x-rays up on the screen and tell them how broken down they are. And we really want them to, we feel like there's power in knowing what's going on. And if you can realize that this is just a stage of what you're going through, but your body is resilient, your body is strong, and with the right things, you can really get to a point where you're healed, you're functioning better, and just living a better quality of life. I think a lot of people kind of push fear and the look how bad your spine is. And obviously, if there's something going on, we're going to talk about that. But we want to empower the person to realize that, hey, you're going to heal, because we know that obviously what we do, we know it works, but we also know that the placebo effect, or having a positive outlook on something, can make a huge difference in your healing abilities. So
For sure. For sure.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that makes you guys stand out from others is your belief in that.
Mhm.
You're there to help people. You're not there to scare them or
Yeah.
make them feel ashamed or guilty or anything like that. It's you
Right.
genuinely want to help. And we've had conversations about all kinds of things, that health related. that don't necessarily involve chiropractic care, but that are just about helping the body become better and allowing it to function better.
For sure.
And I just am so thankful for you guys that your willingness to do that. And that I know that a lot of people have pre what's the word, misconceptions about chiropractic care and fears about it. You know, you really only hear the stories of people who've been injured or whatever during chiropractic care, and that's so rare.
Mhm.
There are so many more people that are actually helped by chiropractic care than there
Yeah.
are that are injured by it. And I wanted to have you guys on today because, like I said, this platform is a way to share hope, and you guys have helped me find that hope, helped me share hope
I love
because
that.
I was, I was in bad shape,
Mhm.
and even after my most recent surgery, I had to stay away. I couldn't come get adjusted for several weeks. And Austin, you remember my hips were like, what have you done? We
Yeah,
need to be back in the right place. And
absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely.
so I know you guys probably hear a lot of people and their fears. Are there any fears that you want to address that you hear a lot?
Yeah. Our approach is very different than your typical kind of Western medicine approach.
Yes.
With chiropractic, a very common misconception is that your one treatment is going to instantly make you feel better. And we can speak on your case. In the beginning, it was really hard to get things to move. Your body
Yeah.
wasn't ready necessarily, but we didn't shy away. We still worked at it. But what chiropractic does is it's not instantly meant to make you feel better, but it is instantly meant to make you heal better. And
Mm,
as we know,
I love that.
healing is something that takes time. It's an approach that is a little bit different where we're going at the root cause of why you're dealing with this. A lot of the stuff is compression on the spine, whatever it may
Wi-Fi.
be.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's just a little bit different approach. Oh, can you hear us? It's frozen. I know.
Still there? Are we
Yes,
there? We're back.
we're
I don't know
back.
what.
Yes.
I lost Wi-Fi. I'm so sorry. Oh
No,
my
you're
gosh.
good.
Okay, so I got the it's not made to make you feel better immediately. It's made to make you heal better.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much all I caught.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, with that healing process, just like think about it like a cut, there's a process that's in place that our body goes through to heal that cut, and it takes time. It's not going to be. Some people experience immediate relief, but it's not something that's very common. And so our approach is, be with us. We're going to get you through this. And in your case, you've noticed within the last, I mean, you've been with us probably a year and a half now. The amount of movement we get is pretty substantial compared to what we did whenever you first came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think speaking to fears that some people may have, I think a big one is definitely if they've never been adjusted before, the popping or the cracking sounds, however you want to call it, that can scare some people, if they've never been to a chiropractor before, they've never experienced that. And so just letting them know that's definitely not bones popping or cracking. It's just exactly what happens when you pop your fingers. It's just a buildup of pressure in those joints. And then when we put movement through there or adjust it, it's that pressure being released. And so I would say that's a big one. But Austin, he touched on something about kind of like how, like, that you're not meant to heal or not meant to feel better immediately, but meant to heal better immediately. And he used the cut analogy. And I kind of just wanted to go back again to that example of that innate intelligence, or the fact that our body is intelligent and meant to heal. And I feel like a lot of people maybe don't think that because they feel like their body's maybe been betraying them for a long time. But even the people that are in that place, they still know that whenever they do have a cut, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to think anything. You don't have to turn anything on. Your body just automatically does that, and that's that innate intelligence that we're talking about. And that's what heals us. We don't heal people. We just put people's bodies in the right place in order for them to heal themselves. I think that's important. It's not us. Yes, we do have a part in it. But we're like a conduit. We're kind of just facilitating that person's healing process. And so,
absolutely.
That's, so good. There's so many directions I want to go with this. I could go down so many trails, but I want to point out that, because like I said at the beginning or earlier, that people ask me a lot, how do you do chiropractic care, but you can't with your neck injury and all of the titanium I have in my neck, how does that work?
Yeah.
Because you guys understand that the body is connected in every way, you don't work on my neck, but because you're putting everything else in line where it's supposed to be, it helps my neck, it helps my headaches, it helps all the things. It helps that blasted muscle that's so angry back there, And Austin, you were saying, when I first came in, we didn't get a lot of movement, and now we're getting more. And that was yesterday I was in, and it's probably like T1. It's right up close to my surgery site.
Yeah.
That when that moves, it's like we both go, whoa, like that was because it's now ready. It's like the body has to adjust itself, and then when it's ready, that space will start to move to and start to get into alignment as well. And so I'm noticing now when I come in that T1 area is starting to move, which obviously helps my my surgery site up there too. And so
yeah,
oh my gosh.
And to speak on that, like our job is to be as specific as possible with your approach. And so, we're really not working a lot on the upper portion or the middle portion of your neck and really the lower portion of your neck. But, there are other avenues, and we do a lot of like traction therapy on your neck just to try to get a little bit more of that range of motion there. And my goal every time you come in is trying to get right below that surgery area, just because with that kind of fusion, there's going to be some, kind of really kind of sheer stress below it. And so if we can get that to move freely, it allows a lot of all the really good stuff to happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I could add one thing to that, Amy,
sure.
I think, again, just kind of going back to fears, and Austin touched on it with the surgery. I think that's a big fear that people that have had spinal surgeries, whether that be a fusion or a discectomy, just different. There's a lot of different things that it could be, but they have a fear that because I've had surgery, I'm not able to come in. But in your case, your neck is pretty much fused, and we're still able to adjust you. Obviously, we cannot adjust something that is fused together, but we also know that anytime that there is an area in the spine that's fused or has surgery, that area is not obviously going to move as well, and movement in the spine doesn't just go away. It has to be made up for somewhere else. And so it's really important with those people to address the areas directly above and below the surgery site, because those are the first areas that will start to kind of take a lot of that stress on. And so, yeah, you kind of hit that on the head. But no, definitely just wanting people to know that we have a lot of patients that have had fusions in their neck, fusions in their back, and we have really great success with those people as well. Mm-hmm. So
it makes a big difference for me. I mean, it really does. Like I could tell when I could not come in for those several weeks that it makes a huge difference. And like I said, one of the reasons I wanted to have you guys on was because this is one of the ways I've been able to find hope in the midst of my adversity, is by finding relief that you all can help me with by putting the spine back where in place, putting the pieces back together. That's what I say when I come in, put me back together.
Right. Right.
But I also wanted to open up, if you guys want to share a story of adversity that you've been through and been able to find hope. That's a lot of what this platform is about. And so I want to give you that opportunity too, if you have something you want to share. If not, that's okay too.
Yeah.
I think Austin definitely. He's had quite a year. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start. Well, first, I want to start on a high. So I had my first child, my daughter, Olivia, in
Yes.
September of 2023. And unfortunately, a month after that, I lost my father, totally unexpected. He passed away, and unfortunately, it hit my family really, really hard. You know, in my extended family, he was the patriarch of our family, and the whole dynamic has been really, really thrown off. And truthfully, what kind of helped me through this a lot was this man sitting next to me. He took a lot of load on because I had to take off time to be with my family and heal and learn how to kind of put my pieces back together.
Yeah.
And it really shook my world. My father was my mentor. He was my closest friend. I talked to him every day, and now going throughout life, I didn't have that role model, that mentor that I looked up to and asked all the questions of. And I've been so extremely blessed because there have been so many other men in my life that have not taken my dad's role, but have been placed in my life to help me through many different challenges. I went to therapy, and I want to push this. No person is above being able to go and talk about what's going on. And this is mainly maybe towards your male audience. A lot of the men are just really told just to kind of hold things in and trudge on through. And truthfully, going to therapy and working on those things, it made my life significantly better. It brought that purpose back into my life because as a new father, having all these questions that I wanted to ask my dad about raising kids I didn't have, and just being able to take an approach of healing, one, but two, learning. It's a new learning experience for me. It really changed my life. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And I remember when, you talk, you're just really open with your patients, and,
yeah,
if we ask questions, you answer them honestly. And I could tell that there was something, and you told me that you're starting to go to therapy, and I was so proud. I was
yeah,
like, oh my gosh, like it's exactly what you said. That's not something men do.
right,
Like, men just don't go to therapy.
right.
It's like you have to twist their arm, or really, really force them to go. And so the fact that you chose to go, I don't know if somebody twisted your arm or what,
No,
but
yeah. Well, and I'll speak to that. It was my wife who first off, I'm way out of my league. My wife is way cooler than I am.
he's not lying.
She's so cool. And what really kind of opened my eyes was she looked at me and she said, "Your spark is gone." And
mm,
it I realized, like, I have a responsibility as a father to be here for my family. And whenever she said that to me, it wasn't in a negative way, but she could just tell that I wasn't me, and I needed to get back to me so I could be the man that she knew I could be for her and our daughter Olivia and the people around me too. So yeah, sorry,
and
I'm an emotional guy. I'm
no,
a crier.
you're
I have I have four older sisters and a beautiful mother, and so we've learned. And she's a counselor too, so she's taught us. You got to let these things be known. And I'm very emotional guy. So sorry.
no, no apology needed. I say all the time, like, tears are healing. They're part of our body's communication system. They're part of what helps us deal with grief and make it through it. That if we fight them, that's a whole nother issue. And so the fact that you're just letting it flow is very admirable, I think.
Thank you.
But the fact that it didn't really take twisting your arm. It just took your wife saying, your spark is gone. You probably already knew that, but for her to say, it's kind of obvious that your spark is gone,
Mhm.
that you took the next step to
Yeah.
go seek out and to find a therapist and to continue going.
Yeah.
That is so admirable. I think more men need to do that. And I love that you can be an example of that, and that you can come on here publicly in front of the world. Literally, I have viewers from across the world,
Yeah.
and show that it's okay for men to cry, that you are a professional, you are a doctor, but you have emotions and it's okay to show them. And
Yeah.
so I love that so much.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course. Oh my goodness, you guys. I know you guys have work to get to. I know that you have so much that you need to be doing, but I so appreciate you taking the time to spend with us today, to share your expertise, your brilliance, your stories. Ty, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Oh, I mean, not necessarily. I guess I could hit a little bit on, some maybe adversity that I've went through. I would say it kind of took me. I had to actually talk to Austin a little bit about, potentially like, man, I just don't know. Like I feel when I think about it, I'm very, very blessed. I didn't grow up wealthy or anything like that, but I've just had a really good life. I have both of my parents, and for the most part, things have gone really well for me. But in when I was in college at OU, when I was a junior there, I actually found out that my mom, she got diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and
Wow.
at that point, just kind of seeing her, the family went to go to figure out. We already knew that she had cancer, but what weren't really sure how bad it had spread. And so we all kind of went together to that appointment, and kind of seeing the scan and seeing how it was almost in every part of her body. That was really hard. That was the first time I'd ever seen my grandpa or heard my mom's dad cry. He's a very, you know, he's just an old man. They're most of them are very stoic, and I've just never seen him really be emotional. And so going through that, and my mom is cancer free. She went through her chemo. It was tough, but she obviously, I'm a big mama's boy. And so, having the thought in my head that, hey, my mom might not make it out of this was really tough. And at that point, I was in college and I was in a fraternity, and I would say I wasn't quite as emotionally mature as I feel like I am now. And so I think I pushed a lot of that stuff down for a long time. But there were, instances and times where, I would maybe not in front of other people, but I would let those emotions out. And I think that, kind of like you spoke to, I think that most people, they would agree that crying is a good thing, and it's important to express your emotions, because just like tension or stress in the spine that we try to relieve through the adjustment, not letting out your emotions is the same thing as holding on to that tension or stress in the spine. It's going to cause a lot of issues in the future. And so I think that that's really important. And then, just touching on, men and not going to therapy. I think that, Austin going and doing that, I could tell immediately, it made like a huge difference. I've done a little bit of therapy for other reasons, but, I would encourage anyone, even if you think like I see all these other people with these very big problems that go to therapy, and my problems aren't that big. It doesn't really matter how big your problems are. And maybe you can't afford therapy, or you're just not ready to take that step. You're very uncomfortable with it. I would just recommend talking to friends. I think there's a trend in just our society in general where you see the amount of close friends that men have. And it's sad that I think that it's less than one, on average, less than one friend, like good friend that you could call for something. Austin and I are very blessed that we have each other, but we also have a big group of guys and girls as well that are very supportive that we can talk to. And so, just taking that first step and talking to someone you trust and, someone that has your best interest. Doesn't have to be a professional, but sometimes just getting it out and talking about it is all you really need you can figure out the solution on your own just by talking about it and saying it out loud sometimes. So I think that's really important for people to realize, men, women, whoever it may be. So
It's so true. I think men are taught that they need to be strong, that showing emotion is not strong, but it's just the opposite in my mind. Like, it shows strength when you
yeah.
allow those emotions to flow and that you let them serve their purpose. And from my work, I know that they can get trapped in your body and they can cause other issues. And in all honesty, well, and research shows that those emotions, when they come, they really only take 90 seconds to serve their purpose if we allow them to, and then they dissipate. But if we hold on to them or fight them, then that's when it becomes an issue. So 90 seconds, come on, let's cry for 90 seconds. We'll get it over with. We're good. Let's go, move on to the next thing. But I love how you guys have surrounded yourself with other men who are supportive of you. Austin, you talked about this, that's how you got through that. And, Ty, you had experiences with that too. And am I right? Have you guys known each other since middle school?
Before that,
yeah.
So we've grown up together. We used to play Little League football and baseball against each other. We went to junior high school together. We were roommates at OU together.
Yeah.
And then ultimately I decided pretty early on in my career at OU that I wanted to go chiropractic. He was a little bit later, and we were like, let's do this together. And we roomed together in Dallas, Texas, where our school was, and we're like, we want to start a business together. He's really, we joke all the time, like, isn't it crazy looking back? And I would have never guessed that I would be spending more time with him than my own wife,
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for that, because he's been truly one of the best friends and best role models in my life.
Yeah, I would second that for sure. We kind of started planning what this space might look like very early on in school. And, it's really come together. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, just in having someone else, going into business, I'm sure anybody who's listening that owns a business or has went out on their own venture, it's very scary. I think we're a little different, and we have a little bit of unrealistic, maybe not unrealistic, but we have a lot of confidence in ourselves. I think that's helpful, but it is still really scary. But I didn't have a lot of fears, because I knew that I could, I knew I could count on him, and then I know he feels the same way. And so, I think we work really well together. But yeah, it's been awesome. 2 years, and we got a long way to go. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so great because, in the same vein of surrounding yourself with people who are supportive, like, you guys have known each other, almost your whole lives. And now you get to do business together, and you have, friend groups, and just get to support people together and help people feel better together. There's, oh my gosh, so much from this episode I could take away, like, just the body, allowing it to serve to do its thing, helping it to do its thing, surrounding yourself with people who are supportive of you, being willing to let those emotions serve their purpose. And oh my gosh, I can't thank you guys enough for being here today, for being willing to take the time to chat with us. I want to pop up your website here. They are located in Norman. For those of you who are local, it's okchirocollective.com. For those of you listening, I will put this in the show notes so that you can just click on it, and can they schedule an appointment through the website?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So if you want to talk about therapy, if you want to talk about emotions, if you want to get yourself adjusted, then they'll make you an appointment. Be sure you tell them that you heard about them from the Polish the Mirror podcast, and you guys have something special for them. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So when you schedule your appointment, if you mentioned to us or Hannah or Megan up at the front desk, tell them that you heard about us from the Polish the Mirror podcast, and we're going to offer 50% off of your first visit, like a new patient experience is kind of what we call it. But what that entails is we're going to do kind of like you talked about earlier. We're going to do a very detailed health history, sit down and talk with you. We're going to take full spine x-rays. We're going to do a posture scan. We like to kind of add different levels of objective findings that we can use to track progress and make sure that not only you're feeling better, but it's important to us that you function better as well. We tell people a lot is when you come into our office, most people are at, if you're on a scale from -10 to 10, most people are on the negative side of that scale. And initially we want to get them to that 0 where they're pain free, but we want to help optimize people's quality of life. And so that's an important way that we do that. But then I kind of got off track. But at the end of that visit, we do our kind of physical examination and then an adjustment at the end of that. So that's what that process looks like. But yeah, we just want to. We're really appreciative of you and anyone that listens anyone that listens to this podcast. We just want to kind of extend that discount and just we believe that. Our belief is that not necessarily everyone needs chiropractic care, but every single person on this planet, regardless, could benefit from chiropractic care. And so if we could, extend that offer to as many people as possible, we'd love to. Mm-hmm. So
that's a view. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Absolutely. You guys need to take advantage of this. Like it's very extensive, like very informative. I learned so much just from that very first visit. So if you have questions or, want to reach out to me, then I'm happy to connect you to them as well. So just however you want to do it, I highly recommend that you get in touch with them because they're just a pleasure, like we go in, I just have a good time. I always look forward to seeing you guys. So
same here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you're one of our favorites.
Absolutely. Don't tell
anyone. You can't say that. You can't say that.
I'm saying it's safe to say you're one of our favorites.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much. I have loved this and I could literally talk about this all day long. We've had some conversations about some deep stuff. And so I'm so happy to be able to share this. And for those of you watching, those of you listening, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching and listening. And again, this is another way that I am offering you hope in the midst of adversity. If you've never tried chiropractic care, I do highly recommend it. And if you have questions about it and want to ask me, I'm open. Just reach out to me and I'm happy to answer those. If you have found this helpful and think it will be helpful for others, please share it. Please leave us a 5-star review so that this message can reach more people. And I will be back next week with another guest. So thank you for being here and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.